If you're thinking about selling your house, pause for a few seconds, because there are houses that should not be sold. Not because of the price, not because of the market, but because they have not yet finished their job of bringing money to you. There are homes where the longer you live in them, the easier life becomes. Money flows more steadily. Opportunities show up at just the right time. Everything starts to move naturally, without constant struggle. But there are also people who keep changing houses, newer, more beautiful, bigger. And yet, the money never stays. It always feels like they have to push just a little harder.
Hello, I'm David Feng Shui. I'm 70 years old with over 30 years of experience in modern Feng Shui. No superstition, just psychology, energy, and real-life alignment. I've helped thousands of people regain balance, money flow, luck, and happiness in their lives. And if you're ready to refresh your energy, welcome. You're in the right place.
I'm not talking about superstitious Feng Shui or vague mysticism. I'm talking about living energy, human psychology, and how environments quietly influence money and daily decisions. In this video, I will point out 6 very specific signs. If your house has these signs, selling too early may mean cutting off your own financial fortune with your own hands. Before we continue, comment below. My home is quietly building wealth for me. Now let's begin. Now let's explore together 6 signs that show the longer you live there, the more money flows in. These are not distant or abstract ideas. Sign 1. Plants around the house grow green and healthy naturally. If the plants around your house grow green and healthy naturally, this is a very clear sign that the home has a stable, nourishing energy foundation. You don't need overly careful maintenance. You don't have to water them every day. You don't need constant fertilizing or changing how they're planted. And yet, the plants stay strong. Leaves, evenly green trunks, solid roots deeply grounded. Sometimes they naturally sprout new shoots, bloom, or grow more vigorously without any significant effort from you. This is not temporary luck. From a modern Feng Shui perspective, plants directly reflect the quality of the living environment. When the soil is healthy, the water is clean enough, and the air is well ventilated, life grows in the most natural way. No forcing, no pushing. And that natural growth is exactly what sustainable growth looks like. Money in homes like this usually doesn't arrive suddenly or in flashy ways. It comes more slowly, but it stays longer, and it's much harder to lose due to small disruptions. From a psychological angle, spaces with healthy greenery give people a very clear sense of safety. When you look around and see stable green tones, your brain receives a signal that this is an environment where it can relax. Breathing slows down, heart rate becomes steadier, stress levels drop. When this state repeats every day, you're less likely to fall into prolonged exhaustion. And when you're not exhausted, you're less likely to make poor financial decisions just to release emotional pressure. Many people lose money, not because they earn too little, but because their mental state is constantly tense. When tense people spend money to compensate, they buy things they don't truly need. They choose quick solutions instead of the right ones. A home where plants grow easily often helps break that loop. It doesn't push you to keep running nonstop. It gives you a sense of having enough energy before you even think about earning or keeping money. Healthy plants also reflect the environment's ability to hold and nurture. The soil retains nutrients. Water doesn't drain away too quickly. Light is sufficient, but not harsh. These factors closely resemble how a family builds wealth sustainably. No need for huge risks. No need for extreme trade-offs. But little by little value is preserved and gradually increases over time. Another very important point is that healthy plants usually come with a stable rhythm of life. Not overly noisy, not chaotic, not filled with constant elements that force you to stay on edge adapting. When life's rhythm is stable, You have time to think long-term, to plan, to make small adjustments, step by step, instead of reacting impulsively. And money truly prefers environments like this. If around your home, plants are easy to grow, rarely get sick, and seldom wither, pay attention. This is not a sign that will make you rich quickly, but it is a very clear sign of a home that has the ability to keep you from becoming poor. In real life, the ability to maintain long-term stability is the most important foundation for money to stay, accumulate, and grow sustainably over the years. Sign 2. Morning. Sunlight flows in evenly and feels comfortable. Morning sunlight that enters the house evenly and feels gentle is a very important sign. Yet it's often overlooked. If every morning when you wake up, natural light softly fills your living space, not harsh, not completely blocked, that is a signal that the house is supporting your daily rhythm. Well, this is not just about lighting. It's about how the home wakes you up each day. Morning sunlight helps the body regulate its biological clock naturally. You feel more alert without forcing it. Your mind is clearer. Your mood is more stable. When a new day starts, in this state, your ability to make good decisions increases significantly. Small decisions made throughout the day, when your mind is clear, gradually create big differences in work and finances. In spaces that lack morning light, people often fall into prolonged sluggishness. It becomes easy to procrastinate, easy to lose direction. And when your mental state is unstable, money also becomes harder to manage. People tend to spend money to compensate for fatigue. They choose fast paths instead of the right ones. A home with even morning sunlight helps reduce many of these kinds of poor decisions. Morning sunlight also creates a sense of beginning. It draws a clear boundary between night and day, between rest and action. When this boundary is clear, it's easier to maintain personal discipline. You wake up on time more often. You start work more cleanly. You finish what needs to be done instead of pushing it to another day. Discipline doesn't come from force. It comes from the right environment. Over time, people who live in spaces with consistent morning light tend to have more stable life rhythms. They're less shaken by small changes, less likely to fall into cycles of overworking and burnout. When life rhythm is stable, cash flow becomes more stable as well. There aren't extreme periods of earning a lot and losing it quickly. Instead, there is steadiness, slow but solid. Morning sunlight also makes a living space feel more emotionally comfortable. The home isn't damp, not dark. It doesn't feel heavy when you step inside. When a house makes you feel comfortable, starting in the morning, you're less likely to look for escapes outside, just to release emotions. You spend less money on things meant only to change your mood temporarily. This allows money to stay longer in a very natural way. Another important point is that morning light helps you see things more clearly. Not just objects, but thoughts. When there's enough light, you feel less confused, less controlled by vague uncertainty. You see problems more clearly. You understand where you are, and you know what the next step should be. This clarity is a crucial foundation for all long-term plans, including financial ones. If your home receives regular morning sunlight without being overly blocked, value that. This isn't something that makes you rich overnight, but it is a sign that this house is helping you maintain the clarity, discipline, and stability needed for money to stay, accumulate, and grow steadily over time. Sign 3. Natural airflow moves gently through the house. A home with gentle natural airflow often creates a very distinctive feeling. You don't need to turn on a fan the moment you walk in. You don't need to switch on the air conditioner just to tolerate the indoor air. Simply opening a window or the main door, you can feel the air moving slowly and steadily without rush or force. That feeling is easy to recognize, yet many people overlook it. Natural airflow is not just about air. It reflects how a house allows energy to pass through without getting stuck. When a space allows smooth circulation, the human body automatically relaxes. Shoulders loosen. The jaw unclenches. Breathing becomes deeper without effort. These small changes show that the nervous system is shifting from a state of tension into a state of safety. When people are in a state of safety, they think differently. You don't feel the need to rush. You don't react quickly just to escape discomfort. You tend to observe more carefully, consider longer, and make slower but more solid decisions. This is extremely important when it comes to keeping money, because many bad financial decisions don't come from lack of knowledge, but from built-up pressure and irritation. In homes without natural airflow, the air often becomes stagnant. Heat accumulates when it's hot. Cold lingers when it's cold. People living there feel tired without knowing why. When fatigue drags on, tolerance drops. You're more likely to spend money just to change how you feel. More likely to choose quick fixes to escape discomfort. And money often leaves in moments like these. By contrast, when natural air flows gently, the house doesn't hold on to heavy emotions. Old air is gradually replaced without disruption. This creates a smooth rhythm of living. You can truly rest after working, and after resting, you can return to work without feeling weighed down. This rhythm helps personal energy avoid being drained too quickly. A home with good natural airflow usually doesn't make you feel stuffy, even after long periods inside. You can sit and work for hours without feeling irritated. You can stay indoors all day without needing to find excuses to go out just because you can't stand the air. When a home becomes a place where energy is restored, you don't need to use money to compensate for exhaustion. Airflow also helps the spaces within the home connect better with each other. One room doesn't feel cut off from another. There's no sense of separation. This directly affects psychology. You feel that things in your life are connected, not fragmented. And when the mind isn't fragmented, managing money becomes clearer and more coherent as well. There is also a very practical point. Homes with natural airflow tend to accumulate less odor, dampness, and heavy air. This helps you sleep more deeply. With good sleep, mental recovery improves. You wake up with more stable energy. And people with stable energy usually don't make financial decisions in states of confusion or impatience. If in your home air can move through gently, without being blocked by too many obstacles, without creating discomfort, treat that as a sign worth valuing. This isn't something that makes you rich quickly, but it helps you avoid many invisible losses. And on a long-term path of accumulation, avoiding loss is the most sustainable way for money to grow gradually and remain stable over time. Sign 4. Hearing frogs croak around the house at night. If at night, especially after rain, you often hear frogs croaking around your home, this is a very noteworthy sign. Many people treat it as just a familiar sound of nature and quickly ignore it. But in reality, the regular presence of frogs indicates that the living environment around the house is in a balanced and stable state. Frogs only live and thrive in places with clean water, soil that is not heavily polluted, and an ecosystem that still maintains its natural balance. When frogs choose the area around your home to live and raise their voices at night, it shows that this place has not been excessively disrupted. The natural rhythm is still intact, and a stable natural rhythm is always a crucial foundation for long-term stability in human life. Nighttime is when the human body needs rest and recovery. When the surrounding space is calm and safe enough for sensitive creatures like frogs to appear, it means the environment is not producing too much invisible stress. You may not notice it immediately, but your body and nervous system feel it very clearly. Sleeping in such a space usually leads to deeper sleep, fewer interruptions, and better mental recovery. Quality. Sleep directly affects how you make decisions the next day. When you sleep enough and sleep deeply, you're more alert, less irritable. You don't feel compelled to solve everything as quickly as possible. And when you're not being pushed by fatigue, you make fewer financial mistakes. Many financial losses originate from decisions made while sleep-deprived or under prolonged stress. The sound of frogs also reflects the presence of water and natural moisture in the surrounding environment. Water, when maintained in a stable state, is often associated with a rhythm of life that avoids extreme fluctuations. Areas like this tend to experience fewer sudden incidents and fewer unexpected expenses. This has a major impact on the ability to hold onto money over the long term. You don't have to stay in constant defense mode. You don't always have to prepare for sudden shocks. When a living environment creates a sense of security, people naturally think further ahead. You find it easier to make plans, easier to follow a long-term path instead of chasing short-term fixes. And money always prefers environments with clear planning and minimal disruption. It doesn't like panic. It doesn't like rushed decisions driven by fear. There is also a very practical point. Places where you can still hear frogs at night are usually not overly urbanized or heavily affected by noise pollution. This allows the brain to truly rest. When the mind gets real rest, you're better able to accurately assess your situation. You know where you are. You know what you need to do next. And that clarity is a core factor in preventing money from leaking away due to poor choices. If around your home, frogs appear regularly at night, treat it as a positive signal. This is not a sign that will make you rich in a short time, but it shows that this house is located in an environment capable of protecting long-term stability. And in real life, that very stability is the most essential condition for money to accumulate and grow steadily over the years. Sign 5. Dragonflies or butterflies appear frequently. When dragonflies or butterflies regularly appear around your home, it's a very subtle sign with deep meaning. This isn't a random occurrence. These creatures are extremely sensitive to their environment. They only show up and stay in places with light air, suitable sunlight, stable humidity, and minimal disturbance. In other words, they choose places where life can flow smoothly. Dragonflies move fast and change direction easily. Yet, they're very selective about their environment. If a space feels heavy, stuffy, or constantly disrupted, dragonflies disappear. When you see them hovering around the yard, resting on a windowsill, or appearing during especially quiet moments, it shows that the space doesn't create pressure. The rhythm of life here allows flexibility without strain. Butterflies are different. They don't rush. They move slowly, lightly, and are very selective about where they land. A butterfly resting in the yard or passing by a window is a sign of safety and stability. Butterflies only appear when the environment is gentle enough not to damage their delicate wings. This reflects that the home sits within a soft energy field, not too harsh, not overly tense. From a psychological perspective, creatures like dragonflies and butterflies have a strong effect on human emotions. When you see them, the brain often responds by relaxing. You feel lighter, less guarded, less rushed. This is a natural human response to signals of safety from the environment. And when your mental state becomes lighter, the decisions you make are less reactive and defensive. Many financial mistakes don't come from lack of ability, but from making decisions under constant tension. When the mind is always pressured to move fast, to hurry, to handle too many things at once, people tend to choose short-term solutions. The regular appearance of dragonflies and butterflies shows that the living environment isn't pushing you into that state. You have mental space to think, time to weigh options, and the ability to wait for the right moment. Another notable point is that dragonflies and butterflies often appear in places with healthy plants, stable natural light, and clean air. Together, these factors create a low-conflict space. When a space has less conflict, people spend less energy on coping and defense. That energy can then be redirected toward building, accumulating, and maintaining what they already have. In real life, sustainable financial progress rarely comes from massive leaps. It comes from small, timely adjustments repeated long enough. Dragonflies represent the ability to adjust direction when needed without panic. Butterflies represent stepping into a new phase only when ready. When these images appear around your home, it's a sign that the environment supports that kind of progress. Some homes make the people living in them feel constantly pressured to move faster, to earn more, to change immediately. But there are also homes that allow you to move slowly without falling behind. Dragonflies and butterflies often appear in places like that. Places where the rhythm of life doesn't exhaust you before you have a chance to accumulate. If you notice dragonflies or butterflies appearing around your home naturally and consistently, pay close attention to how you feel in that space. You'll likely find yourself less tense, less rushed, and clearer in your thinking. This isn't a sign of getting rich quickly, but it is a sign of an environment that allows money to arrive at the right time, stay long enough, and grow in a sustainable way without force and without loss. Sign 6. Sparrows or swallows. Build nests near the house. When sparrows or swallows choose to build nests near your home, it's a very clear sign of long-term stability in the living environment. Birds are extremely sensitive creatures. They don't stay in places that are too noisy, too unsafe, or constantly disrupted. Their return, nesting, and daily presence around your home show that this space is safe enough to support life over a long period of time. Sparrows are often associated with steady family rhythms. They live in groups, return to their nests every day, and are very loyal to the place they choose. When sparrows build nests near a home, it reflects an environment that isn't overly tense or harsh. The rhythm of life here allows repetition, and stable repetition is the foundation of accumulation, both emotionally and financially. Swallows carry a different meaning. They travel far, but always return to the same place. This reflects the ability to expand outward and return safely. A home where swallows nest is often a place that allows the people living there to go out to explore, work, and take risks, then return without being drained of energy. You can go far without losing your roots. And that is extremely important in the journey of building financial stability. From a psychological perspective, the presence of birds brings a very clear sense of peace. Morning bird song and the sight of them returning to their nests at the end of the day create a feeling of natural order. When the surrounding environment has order, the human mind also finds order more easily. You feel less scattered, less pulled into extreme emotions, and when the mind is stable, you're less likely to make impulsive financial decisions. A house that birds choose for nesting usually doesn't have too many factors that create insecurity. The air isn't heavy, noise isn't overwhelming, the environment doesn't shift constantly in unpredictable ways. This helps the people living there feel safe on a subconscious level. When that sense of safety is maintained, people tend to think further ahead, make long-term plans, be more patient with goals that take time. Many people lose money, not because they lack the ability to earn it, but because they live in prolonged instability. When life feels unstable, people make rushed decisions. They change direction too often. They abandon what they're building too easily. A home where birds nest helps reduce that instability. It creates a feeling of being able to stay, and only when you can stay long enough does money have the chance to accumulate. Birds also only nest in places with stable food sources and environments that aren't heavily polluted. This reflects the nurturing capacity of the surrounding space. An environment that nurtures well usually doesn't exhaust the people living in it. You can restore energy each day. And when energy is restored consistently, you don't need to use money to compensate for exhaustion. If you notice sparrows or swallows nesting near your home, treat it as a very positive signal. This isn't a sign of getting rich quickly, but it is a sign of a place you can stay for the long term. And in real life, only places you can stay allow money to stay, accumulate, and grow sustainably over the years. After going through all 6 signs, you may have realized something very important. Truly good homes are not loud. They don't promise fast wealth. They quietly create an environment stable enough so you don't lose energy day after day. When your energy isn't constantly drained, money finally has a chance to stay. Many people sell their homes, not because the place is bad, but because they haven't lived there long enough to see the true value of stability. Money needs time. Life does too. A space that helps you sleep better, think more clearly, and feel less rushed is the foundation of all long-term accumulation. If when you're at home, you feel that you don't have to strain just to survive, that alone is already a huge advantage. Don't underestimate this feeling. It's a clear sign that the place you're living in can hold your rhythm of life and hold your money as well. If this resonates with you, leave a comment. I choose to stay long and walk the long road. And if you find these insights helpful, subscribe to the channel to keep receiving perspectives that help you live steadily, live deeply, and build wealth sustainably.